So somebody asked me to take a look at the Astro Forex guy. And he has about a 5-minute intro of a bunch of Zen recommendations like go for it. Don't let anybody tell you you're a loser. Ignore rough comments. But apparently this guy is living large and in charge like that guy, Welcome to Teo's Garage or whatever it is. Teo's Garage. And I guess if you're into that, right? Now, he claims to be making money trading. And I guess he could be, right? He's got the right attitude. Now, he's traded quite a bit, apparently, of real money and maybe demos. And he knows what it's like to win and lose a lot of money. So he does do a very decent job psychologically as a trading coach. I'm always worried when the trading coaches decide they're going to do analysis and stuff. It's like the analyst that's too afraid to pull the trigger, although he's really good at analyzing, but he would never trade his own money. And those people end up writing books, and they really are good analysts. But when they go to get in the trade, they feel either uncomfortable being underwater in a swing trade, or they just don't even like the idea of getting stopped out. If you traded really tight stops on really big tickets and be thinking, and there are people that can do it, they're like, oh no, right now, boom, right there. We just made a new low. We just took out yesterday's low. Buy now, buy now. Now, if you're watching it take out yesterday's low and you're like hitting the buy key, it's a completely different experience than putting an order in there, walking away and coming back and seeing that you already cashed out of it because you've already chosen your exit properly. Because we know when the market gets to the very line of scrimmage, there's going to be a battle. And there may be many battles. It is a lot like a football game. Fourth down, fourth top. The congestion can only go on so long. 5 dojis in a row on a weekly chart, really? At that point, you'd have to consider that it's truly a balanced market. It's in complete balance. So let's go through this. This is my first time through this video. I made it this far. He's going to dive into some charts. And he's got, I'm going to have to go to my charts because he just published this yesterday, Technical Tuesday, and this is Wicked Wednesday. And I'm sure hoping he's going to show us some clever trading ideas. Now, he's supposedly publishing his journey. He's another one of these watch my journey people, which I've just never felt comfortable in that situation. Living in a fishbowl is not exactly what I consider privacy. So, I'll leave it up to these guys. Good for him. He's got the classic candlestick charts with the classic support and resistance lines drawn. He's identified that. He's got a little fib. I think he uses a little Fibonacci or something, a little side of fib. He's identified these key pivots here, obviously. This, he's figured this out. The old top bottom. There's a nice little wedge just before we take off. And the initial fill of this vacuum here, and then like this thing's just going, it's just cutting like insane. Now, hopefully you're cashing out along the way, or you're selling into that as it goes up, because by the time it gets back to, this would also mean you'd have to have a pretty decent amount of patience. If you sold here, I guess you could claim, oh, I'm finally up on that trade. I'd be getting out right now on a scalp. That would have been the scalp. Here's where I'd start buying. Anything below here, I just have buy limits in there and just walk away. I don't know. This looks almost like it's like a 1 hour chart or something. It's a pretty vicious looking chart. Let's let him go through his. It's his birthday, by the way. Just letting you know. This is a birthday video.
And also GBP JPY, something that
I almost thought he said Jimmy Page, and I was like, yeah, I did. I could see what, yeah, it's the Jimmy Page pattern.
Covered briefly yesterday market open.
He does have a speech impediment.
London session open, sorry, on my Instagram live.
He can't say THs.
After being away in Japan for the later half of last week and having a little bit of fun. So rebounding, bouncing back from all of the obstacles that are always thrown in and the life's
thrown in. I think he means thrown in. So he has a little speech impediment you got to get used to because it sounds like somebody kicked him. Everything's thrown in now. But see, it's a whole lifestyle thing here, you know. You don't have to live like this guy to make money trading. I'm just saying.
Tests. Always, always, always keep your sight on the vision.
You could be just like, you don't need 4 monitors, trust me.
Continue to refine yourself and push forward.
Yes, you refine yourself. He's so zen throughout this thing. It's pretty ridiculous.
And never, never, never give in to...
Ain't never. It's the Churchill trading method.
To anybody else's bad comments about you. And
oh, well, okay. I hope he doesn't see those. Like, he doesn't care. He encourages bad comments.
Forget what they think. Focus on your journey. Focus on your chart.
Yeah, that turtleneck, is he going to be okay? Is that thing going to choke him?
Work, your trading.
Oh, is he one of those chicks that wears the, stretch the neck rings? Yeah, the guy that said, I asked, what is RM? Yeah, risk management. I didn't think about it. When I saw capital R, capital M, I thought room, and then I thought hooker. Room number 10 is the one with the hooker. Okay.
Your discipline, your psychology.
I ain't got no discipline, your psychology. And then he goes through this cliche list. I try to spare it. This is the philosophical view of trading, Keep your stiff upper lip.
And we can all get there. So let's go. Hey guys, so thanks for tuning in. Now, starting with the good old GBP JPY, this is daily time frame.
Okay, so we're going to go with we got to find that chart there. Please hold. So I brought the guppy up on the daily chart. That's what he's running. So I'm going to look at it in my charting system, which includes the clothesline, the 1 period moving average on top of bar. So I've taken out the open because I kind of know I don't really want to discriminate so much. I don't want to have to be distracted by dojis, so I'm just going to look at the range of the bar for my overall volatility because I don't want to lose track of that key factor of the really... I could look at a candlestick chart, but I don't have to in a way because I can imagine it. I can backward engineer it now at this point. And I could also just, it's not like, if you've seen the candlesticks, maybe you can't ever unsee it, But for instance, this I would assume is an inverted hammer, where here on his chart it's not. He gets a doji here on this broker, whatever that is. But see, I see an inverted hammer, even though here it's an engulf. I'm saying it's, and look at these really sharp dojis here. Where here I get the flat line. So I know I'm getting, anytime the market quiets down, I know there's a doji, right? Because especially, unless there's a gap open in this market. So my charting emphasizes this this hole, this void. So here you really have to look kind of hard at the wicks to see that, in my opinion. There's too much weight to the body and the direction. I can see a trend line here where I really have to struggle here. Because this closed down, I'm not going to draw a trend line off the body. The trend is now down because of the failure swing. Here's a shoulder. You assume it's a shoulder. It sells, sell limits come in right in the daily, right in the crotch. Right in the previous basement becomes a floor theory. Here's a real overshoot. This guppy's pretty vicious. This is a 20 pip grid. Look at this vicious top. Retest that. You can't. I gotta move that over. Can't see it. I keep forgetting it's not taping the whole screen. So in time, there's a 20 pip window here. Breaks out. Traps people. People that have buy stops here because they want extra confirmation. They get filled. It smashes back. All of the trend traders should have buy limits trailing where people have their sell stops to protect their longs. You need to buy that. It's your classic market maker entry. You confirm the breakout. Come back and retest. Where does it come back to? It comes back to the last known top. Goes 20 pips deep. You should have a buy limit here. No fill though. That's why you can't just trade with one ticket. This one, that's a daily chart. It's broken out of this. It's filled this vacuum. It's satisfied. Comes back. Dips lower. Right. So this whole ride from here to here, if you got in here on a buy stop and you don't even have a chance to move your stop to break even, if you're going to trail it, they just kicked you out. You're filled long, they kick you out. You can't live on stop entry alone. You can't live on limit entry alone or market entry alone. But if you think for some reason that this may be a top, because look at it, it just can't get any higher. Whereas here people will say, look at it's okay, but what are you doing about that? What are you doing about that price action? How can you trade price action? How to trade price action before it happens, while it's happening, all those kind of things, you know. I think that's the secret. I'll go back and play his thing.
I haven't really posted this or got involved with this pair for quite some time now. It's been probably around 3 to 4 weeks. But let's see what we can do here. So
he means 3. Oh shit. Sorry. Yeah, look at this fucking goofball shit. These guys are out drinking and just blew up the fucking chart. Damn it. Please hold. It's when he says through it. He should say through it, but he says through it.
Starting with the good old GBP JPY, this is daily time frame. I haven't really posted this or got involved with this pair for quite some time now. It's been probably around 3 to 4 weeks. But let's see what we can do here. So breaking out of
3. You mean 3.
145. I'm not going to really go into any of this price action right here. I just want to get straight to a potential trade setup and the next directional bias on this pair. So 148.56, let's just say 148.50, which is a psychological level over there. Tapped directly from that, had a bit of a gap to the upside on yesterday's closure, and we managed to, it's a little bit sloppy here actually, but we managed to come back below one.
A little bit sloppy here. Wow.
147.50.
I've never thought of, well, I guess sex is like that.
Which has always been a very strong level for this pair on both of the support and resistance sides.
What is he talking about? That's always been that's always been, she's always been a nag, but she's got a nice ass.
Now we're sat on this little area, which I'll get to in a moment, which is the 4 hourly, but what I'm interested in right now on this pair as to where it spiked into on this daily time frame earlier on. So one of the prior spikes, taking it from the body, we can use this as a range if you will. The pair can actually pull up from this zone, but let's go a little bit deeper into the 4 hourly. So 4 hour basis I had previously marked on, so what I can do now, I've just spotted this area. So what I always like to do is just maybe come down into the time frame and see if I can actually refine a certain level or certain zone. So that's that right there. As I can see, we spiked into it beforehand and the liquidity was taken straight from 146.60, and then we've come all the way back up to the top end of that range, which is 147.07. So around 30-40 pips there. As you can see, the market is pulling back quite nicely. I've also just marked on this zone.
And you got in where? I don't get why these people can't call out the trades, man. I still don't get it. Is it because they don't trade it? Or can't you even call out what the trade should have been? Like, I mean, seriously, why not? Why can't you just do it?
Which I can now refine even further to the baseline of
fervor.
1, 2 bodies right there, and we can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. So even though we had 5 spikes come through that miniature zone, we also had the 6th and then the 7th move. On the 8th...
No. Okay, this guy's got to be kidding at this point. Let me see if I can analyze the market like that. We come through here. Okay, we get these spikes here. And then we go up through it. And they come back from through it. And you kind of get this top bottom on the wick there. And notice here, it went up and it went down. And what else can I say? Well, this kind of rallied here. You know, almost like it came back down. My line chart, it's a perfect bottom become a top, body to body. It's amazing that he's got to be kidding, right? Like, has he done so many... What his lifestyle has destroyed his frontal lobe, apparently. What did he just say? I can't believe it.
Line of 1, 2 bodies right there, and we can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. So even though we had 5 spikes come through that miniature zone, we also had the 6th and then the 7th move. On the 8th move, we are pulling back above that zone as well. So if we just focus on what's actually happening.
You mean we had moves after the moves? This is really, I sit down and think about this. So the way he analyzes the chart is he picks about any few bars on the chart. I think I get the hang of it now. We got this move here, and this move here, and this move here, and then we got some more bars that moved. Did he just... Is he kidding?
Right here in the last day or so since market open, all we've really done is...
Since market open. And they say I can't speak in complete sentence. It's his birthday. Give him a break.
Spike into the liquidity zone, and then we've come back.
Spike Lee. I hate Spike Lee.
Back up. Probably buy orders are being taken here from this previous spike. And what we can maybe see now from GBP/JPY is...
He said he took some buy orders from the spike, but he didn't notice he just kind of like glossed over where he got in. Are these guys, are they making money selling courses or something? Or are they just like 2 gay guys that are rich? You ever seen that before?
A run back up to the highs. If I was to just remove that there and look for potential target points, taking average is one of my favorites. Taking this area right here.
This is his favorite. Now, why does he pick that area? I'm trying to get my brain around that. Is this some type of reason for that? I mean, I can tell you the reason for my lines, what they're based on, but that's a weird range.
Overall, I don't consider this as super bullish because if we also, I'm going to relate to GBP AUD at the moment, but what we can do, and probably the best setup to wait for on GJ for a better risk reward trade, is for the pair to come into this region, show us a rejection, and then come back down and maybe even back into 145.
This is the empowered trading theory of life. when you're so afraid of trading, what would you call this? Notice the straight line, how he's doing a utopian projection. This is the Marxist trading technique, the utopian. This is Venezuela, why they're eating dogs. See if I understand Astro Dog. Hey Astro. Hey George Jetson Trading. You mean to tell me that the market typically goes like this, but in this scenario, it's going to go here, and it's going to go here. Well, don't be silly. Of course he doesn't mean it like that. But if this is true, then, okay, you don't really have a choice on this chart. And I don't really know what the 4-hour looks like because I haven't gone to the 4-hour yet. So I'm going to try to do an honest guess of what I think is the scenario that we're at right now. If you just look at the vacuum that was filled here, as soon as the market breached this zone, and then this one goes, this is a 4-hour chart, so this is an 8-hour little ledge here, basement, little crater, like they have on the moon. And we've also got this monster, right? Now he's not marking these, he's doing this arbitrary. If he was to do this properly, I think his window needs to be like this. He's a very loose area. He's a real reckless trader. He's not a precise guy. Welcome to his garage. We have this shelf here. So this, all this matters. This is the vacuum of death. So we're either going to, and all the people that draw channels have already got their channels in and they're expecting some type of like, you know what? Got a top become a bottom right now. Hopefully you've sold the scalp. If you bought this vacuum, everybody just went flat. Because the pivot is the doji. There's 12 hours of pivot. What he should have said is these are pivot bars, these are dojis, then we get a move. Then we get a move. And now we're right back to equilibrium. Cycle's completed. That trade's over. If you're 4-hour, if you like to hold trades for 8 hours and 4 hours, that trade, that's you're done. Now anything could happen. You know, how would you trade the top? Sell limits here. You got to cash out of something, or they're going to rape you to here. Comes flying back to the dojis. Then you get another trade signal. Nice scalp. Starts coming into the sell limits. Tweezer top. Got to kick back. Come back to structure. Come back to the core. Backfill this vacuum. Up again. Failure swing. The shoulder on the daily. People sell at the trend line. They're assuming another, right? Or it's gonna go zigzag though. None of this straight shit. It's just gonna be nuts, man. It could just be all over the fucking place. But I still don't get this. Why do people talk like this? Well, the best thing to do is wait for it to come up here. Dude, I get that you're fucking 12 years old, okay? I couldn't wait that long for that trade. Even if I wasn't impatient, even if I was your age, why would you? I don't get it. This is a 4-hour chart, man. If you're a bull, you're going to buy one at the market right now and say that this is going to engulf. This is not going to be a bottom, become a top. It's a chess game. The market moved. Now it's your move. Every 4 hours, the market moves. It's your move. You could pass. Imagine it's a card game where you're allowed to pass. And how often do you turn down a poker hand and not play it out? Maybe other people's hands suck bigger dick than yours, so maybe you should play out the hand. Because it's not as bad as you think. And the market's same way. It has a very lazy, spastic, then it's drifty, then it's spastic. And let's not forget this punishment down here, people. The range of hell. The prison of zigzag. Then it just starts to sneak away. A couple of dojis, apex forms. Poop. Takes off. Never even comes back to this breakout point. This is a rip your face off railing. It never even comes back and retests that doji. So you have to commit to buy this top. When the market's here, you got a buy limit here pending. It comes back, it fills you, and actually it fills you and then some. You have a trailing array of buy limits if you're bullish. You never want to have buy stops up here and then get filled, move your stop, get stopped out, go long, move your stop, run a stop, get stopped out. You need to get in front of these things. You got to be a proactive trader. I'm just speaking for me. There's no fucking way I'm going to sit there and wait for this fucking stupid ass scenario.
That's what I'll personally look for at the moment on this. So I'm not going to go back in time. I just want to keep the price relatively relevant, if you will, as to what's been going on.
Relatively relevant, if you will. Let me see if I can find that. I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart. My 4-hour chart may not be like his, so this may be a little problem. And the time has unfolded since he posted this. So let's see what did happen there. We actually overshot. We did engulf. If you bought this 40 pip window, every 5 pips you've got a 1K or 100K. You're going to get out of half the position when it comes ripping back into the floor. All right, you got to have a scenario for this. So at that point of the chart, when he did that thing about, well, the market's going like this, then all of a sudden, in the next few bars it moves. Well, fucking duh, right? Just update it on me here. Right? Please hold. We can see a perfect double top in time on the 4-hour. We see the trend line touch on close. You got to sell at that. You got to nail it. You literally got to sell. You either have a trailing sell limit, but see how, if you have a 20 pip trailing sell limit, see how that's just 20 pips is all it really is. The trend line's just a notification of volatility is drying up. And things are getting quiet, and you're starting to form a triangle. And look how many times we re-dip into this well. So if you're trading on the clock, then 8 hours down, as you get filled on limits here, and you don't think you're in big enough, and it's trapped under there on the 4-hour, buy at the market. If you have a market order ready to go that you can click on your tablet or your desktop or your Android, you just get in like a pig there on some big ticket, but how big you can afford, right? And maybe you too put an extra buy limit and you're like, you know what, they'll probably take it lower and just, be like, I really like this trade, I'm going to put a buy limit here, buy limit there. As soon as it comes slamming back to here, you got to get on. So you got to take your first 20 pips or 30 pips. Your next exit has to be here. And look how it engulfs and it traps the breakout traders that trade really big bar breakouts, which I don't know why you would. Breakout traders need to pay attention to really small bars like this because you can scalp out. And even here, you get a double reaction, but here's where it pays off. 8 hours of sideways coming into Sunday. Never takes out last week's high. You're literally getting in at the beginning of the bar down. 12 hours straight down. You're cashing out into this void. Here comes the buyers. They scoop it up, ram it back into there. Punch through again. Scalp it. Again, scalp it, 20 pips. Scalp it, 20 pips. Next thing, buy limits again. Sell limits start here. Don't be this guy that can't pronounce th's. Don't be this guy. Look, in other words, what you have to do is say, I'm ready to sell up here. Sell on these tops. This is the big VAC. Here's the VAC, and we filled this. Sellers came in, they scalped it to here. Now you're going to buy limits in here. You don't have to. You'd be surprised if you go around and trade 8 currency pairs and you put a buy limit here, one here, one here, one here, and one here, and walk away and put a master stop down here. You wake up, the market's come down, and if it hasn't, then guess what? No harm, no foul. You don't take it on. This could punch down, and you got to have a scalp built in there, so when the market starts to dead cat bounce, the market ain't going like this guy says. It just ain't going like this. It's not going to be a linear. It's not going to be some fucking. You really think when it gets to here, it's not going to have an issue? This is harebrained shit. And then he's going to buy here for what? Well, if you buy here, you know your exit's got to be here. That's already been established. If it comes down here, we got to get out there. If it goes up here and it gets to here, we got to get out here, right? We got to get out the last step on the ladder. It's a random walk through space. The final frontier. Space. That's what the guy says. You need space. The guy's just treading water here. His scenario is it's going to make it up here. Well, at this point, when this quiets down, the market's saying, okay, I'm ready for somebody to hop on the train. It's coming into the station. Let me just go to the weekly here. I'm curious. Yeah, we never made those treetops, but now the people that can wait a long time, and you may never see this price. This is the logical place to get in, last known. But if this week closes out like this, this will be a low volatility. It's also an inside bar, so we've got a pattern there. Anytime you see, look at how the true range gets very small here, and then kaboom, right? It doesn't matter. Like if you can afford it, you got a sell stop here, trailing on the weekly, and a buy stop on the weekly, and guess what? Auto fill to the south side confirmation. This is about 100 pip range. And look at this perfect pivot right here. This is where they ramp it all the way back up to, kick it back down off of that. The weekly, he was showing the daily to begin with. They go the monthly, right? Blow your mind on the monthly. Look at this wick. The end of the year wick. Look at this fill. Came into this, came into that, ripped hard in that. Never made it to this one though. It's amazing. Look at this pent up demand, and then smash, and then wow, these people. Oof. Look at this. Brutal. People think it's going to go down into here. People think it's going to go up into here. It just never gets the party started till it just drays a cup until it gets there. It does look to me like it's going to flip into this hole next. This is the next issue. I'm going to backfill here first. Now, depending how big you get in that. But geez, you know what's something coming to a head here? That's the monthly, and wow. This is why people would get burned on head and shoulders if they thought it wouldn't be hard to say this is the head, this is the shoulder, and this is the shoulder, and it's going to tank. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the yen is going to be devalued across the board on all currencies, it looks like to me. The yen's going to get pretty smashed by the dollar and the pound and the euro. I suppose euro to everything else. They got to print the shit out of that currency over there. I mean, you lose money over there. Putting your money in the bank there. So let me go to his next discussion point. You just wonder what these people are thinking. Technical Tuesday.
In the last 3 or 4 days, but reading that then, reading in between the lines and the fine detailing, that is what I expect on GBP.
Reading between the lines. Got to read the tea leaves, buddy.
JPY. So if it rolls over, then fair enough. It could roll over from here, break, retest this area, show a sign of a bearish retest, where it could be a nice spike coming into this region and closing back below, then to roll over to this zone. That would be my favored. Coming higher and higher and higher, to be honest, I'm going to leave the bullish bias, and that's just my preference of how I would handle this particular market at the moment after what I've seen recently. But if that makes sense to you, then...
Absolutely not. None of it makes sense the way you're telling it.
I hope I've helped there. So let's go over
to
GA. Now GA, again, I covered this on my Instagram live yesterday, so I'll try to run through this as fast.
He's going to run through it. I'm going to try to find that. Please hold. It's called Pound Australia. Okay, so so I would have bought every 4 hours it's down. So this is 4 hours down by, 4 hours down by. You're forced to buy it here because you should have a market. If you're at the 4 hour chart, you should have a market order ready every 4 hours to run. And then you have your limit orders that you place in here. Trailing below there, buy limits, sell limits above. And of course here you would have, if you sold up into that, you need to get out of something, and people are getting out, right? That's why you're seeing that break out, come back, retest, take off. Never came back to this breakout point, but this is such a harsh move, you know. Let me stretch this out a little bit. Okay, so I'm trying to get the same perspective that he has there. Let's see what he has to say about this move coming up. And I just still don't see any trades. He must be using that trading view shit. Let's see.
So we have the highs up top. The highs up top. 1.872425 quarter figure there. We can also maybe go in and take an average from top of that green wick and across, where the market's again similar to what we see on GJ, but on the both 4 hour time frame. Sorry. And how we've reacted to this zone, coming through, back above, spiking in again, spiking in one more time. And even if we went into the hourly on GA, we can actually again see if we can actually...
No, why does he do that? Why doesn't he just complete the thought about where he's at on that chart? Can't he see it? My God. Keep spiking in, keep spiking. This guy doesn't... I don't think he knows what's making the market move the way it moves.
Should refine that zone.
So let's go to the 1 hour. My God, this guy, you blow your brains out already. I mean, I don't know, man. I really got to zoom out because that hourly chart gets filled in really fast. So here the correlation is my chart to his chart. I don't know if you can see it, but this part here is this part here, and then we go running down. We raid this area. Your buy limits are sitting down here. You got to cash out of something into the floor. Comes back again. And once again, you're either buying this fresh zone or you sold this structure, because this is literally a bottom become a top. It doesn't mean the market's going to go down here. It's going to range in that situation. Like here, it's coming back. So If I bought at the end of 4 hours at the market, I got buy limits here all night long. And here all week long, right? Every 20 pips I'm buying this as it drops down. It's pretty stupid. It's dumber than you think. And so here, same thing here, right? You're buy, then you got to scalp out into the floor. You always got to scalp out of something there on the obvious structure pivots.
I'm happy with that. It's a little bit sloppy, but it's fine. As long as we can read the...
Once again, it's sloppy. Now, this is that throwaway thing that people say, and it's just, dude, you should be able to trade slop. I'm sorry, but if you don't know how to trade slop, you don't know how to trade... People want these perfect... I notice people want perfect setups.
Fine details, it's cool. So we come in, and earlier we've spiked back up to it, but we're also making prominent high, lower swing high, lower swing high, lower swing high. And the market for me on GA is...
What a bunch of bullshit. What the fuck did he just say? Low swing high, low swing high. Like, I don't even know if this guy honestly trades. I think he might just be a trading coach. Like, just like, go there, man. Just keep stiff upper lip. You'd be fine.
It's ready to potentially roll down.
He needs a goddamn articulation class, I can tell you that. He needs to get that TH going. I'll see you on Foy's Day.
Can it roll down too?
Hey, it's technical. Foy's too technical. I can't even say it wrong. You ever try to speak technical? Well, it's the TH sounds he's having problems with.
I did go in and mark
technical Foos Day
from top to bottom of this range.
Top to bottom.
Yesterday on my Instagram live, and gave you the steps as to what to look for and when to potentially enter the market. Now, I'm just going to remove that for now. But the lower end, we have 1.8500 for this pair, which is 85 pips away. One more from there onward, we also have, let's take it right from there, we also have this zone over here. So let's look at where where certain other points are of interest. Point of interest right there as well. So looking at this market from rolling over 80 pips into this zone.
It sounds like his buddy just came into the room there. So, and plus he's in those monitors sitting out in this. I wouldn't trade outdoors with the lights on the way he is. Somebody could shoot him.
And then once
Soros could take a pot shot at him.
More, if we could maybe line this up. Let's go back to the 4 hourly. So as you can see on the 4 hour there, we do have a greater gap,
So he just willy-nilly put this in here. Right, this line is some type of. It's just willy-nilly stuff.
Zone, which we can look for the price to be magnetized into.
Magnetized.
From there, we can come back to 8,250, but I don't want to give any extremely bold calls right now.
Why not? What a pussy.
On these pound markets.
Why not? Go for it. There's no shame. People are so afraid. Look at this. People are not only afraid to lose money, they're afraid to make a call. And you make the call.
But I do believe we're just going to roll over from here. So 0.1.
Does that mean down?
Let's say 85, 0.2. 1.8364. So
well, you got it wrong. Sorry, champ. But I don't mean to burst your bubble, but it didn't so much roll over. Now, oops.
We do have quite
on the 1 hour chart. So look at how this thing did not roll over. The art of not rolling over. So he is right here on the chart, and you are here. So sellers came in, as we always know they do, and when they make fresh lows, ignore these ridiculous lines. It almost looks like that's a tail wick on there, but it's not. It never wicked down there. So we have this extreme. Look at these bearish candles into here. That's like all it's got. Right? That's the big meltdown. That's this meltdown here. That's the giving you best you got. That's the Anita Baker trade. And then comes flying back in, double top into the floor. Down again. Smashes up. He's got that line in there. That's not a wick. What a goof. This guy's such a goof. Then we get the inverted hammer here. Now it's going to go after this hole. And you're going to buy heavy in here. There's the first scalp. All right. First scalp. It goes choppy. It gets very quiet and rangy. Then the Big Dipper right here. It people did cash out here. Barely comes back. It actually does come down to about here, I think. So he's missing that part because that comes later. Like he said, in a few more bars, it's going to move again. And the whole time this is happening, notice this wedge of nothingness. And we got this eternal hell void here that's been, if you go back in the chart, you can't see it here, but see if I can drag it over. All right, so we've got the, and he's saying, and you just have to wonder how he hasn't figured this out yet, how the market works. But he's probably too busy driving around in his rented Ferraris. I mean, he admits to, I'm going to rent a Ferrari because, you know, I'm just not going to buy it. He goes, I got a car at home. But they're like rock stars. They remind me of, I don't know, like, just, it's like, what is that? The Jersey, or Big Brother. Remember Big Brother was this thing where they filmed people living together and shit? It's like creepy, man. Ultra creep. So I bought this on the 4 hour in my mind, right? This is the trade. It's down to the break up high buy, and we put limits below here on the pound Australian tonight. This is the day after Technical Tuesday. It's called Wild Wednesday. And we made those new highs there. We could have trapped people up here, though. This could come melting down. You have to be prepared for that. You have one bullet you use at the market, one bullet on stop, one bullet on the limit. And then you just have to strategically place those orders.
A long way down for GA, but
it's a long way down from here, buddy.
My trade was taken on a 30-minute time frame.
A 30-minute try. Dude, we got to get you to speech therapy. There's no 30-minute try. It's a 30.
Yesterday, I brought my stop up overnight. I was literally stopped out, and you guys seen this on Instagram.
No way. You? Oh, my God. See, now, he did this in the other video. I watched his other, the first search that came up for him was not a good video. It was not very flattering. It was like, he filmed it on his phone, and you couldn't see the charts. He was holding the phone from his charts. So fucking retarded. And he did the same thing. He put the goober stop in. Put a stop up here, you know. He went short, put a stop up here. Unbelievable. True retail style. That's retail trading for you. Confirmation entry.
By around 2 pips, and then the market.
Oh, no. Say it ain't so, brother. It's just funny. There's that 1 and 2 pip window where you could put in a 5 pip stop and make 100 pips. And people don't believe that trade's real. I know the ICT guy believes it's real because he understands that the market gets to the edge and that's it. Even he understands that. This guy had to hook up with ICT. ICT could straighten him out. At least show him what a fucking trade block is, at least.
It's still swinging to the downside. So that's that. If I then go...
I see why people are attracted to ICT compared to what's out there, right?
Go into Aussie dollar, because the Aussie dollar right now, we do have some data out tonight.
Data out? Oh, boy. Is it coming out on Fru's Day?
But what I've seen here is... market is sloppy. It's
sloppy again. Oh, I can't take his slop. So I think you get my point. Anyways, that's my review of the Astro. Jetson's dog trades Forex.